Hi, my name is Chris Eder. I'm the Alpine ski coach here at Castleton University. The major differences between USCSA and NCAA is that at the NCAA level, that level of ski racing is at an elite level, whereas the USCSA is still competitive, but it's not as elite. So at the NCAA skiing level, you're going to see a lot of elite fist racers competing in those events. You'll see a lot of men and women with points in the low 20s, whereas at the USCSA you see a range of between 50-point skiers and 150-point skiers. So it's a pretty wide range there in the level of athletes. The other major difference between the two is at the NCAA level. In their FISH University races, only 6 men and 6 women compete, whereas at the USCSA level, you can enter 10 men, 10 women, and it just gives a little bit more room for opportunity there. So at the USCSA level, we have a pretty wide range as far as USSA points go. Our athletes range from anywhere from low 50s to 150 points. We do get some skiers who have under 50 and some skiers who have well above 150 as well. I mean, there's an opportunity for everyone to compete in ski racing still competitively at the collegiate level within the USCSA. Okay, the benefits of competing at the USCSA level, there's quite a few, and really for me it's the opportunity that it creates for people to continue doing something that they love, and that's ski racing. Just because you haven't lowered your points, your FIS points into the 20s and 30s doesn't mean that your collegiate career or your ski racing career is over. You can continue it in college. And at the USCSA level, as mentioned, I mean, the points range from 50 to 150. The spectrum is pretty wide. I know I've seen a lot of guys and women that I've tried to recruit who are really good, solid skiers, and they've gone to NCAA schools and they didn't make the team and they just quit ski racing. Whereas if they had gone to a USCSA institution, they would have made those teams, been very successful, and had a really good collegiate career. So varsity sports versus club teams. At the USCSA level, we have varsity teams and club teams. Here at Castleton, we're a varsity team. We're pretty fortunate because the majority of our funding comes from our athletic department. So entry fees for collegiate races, travel, hotels, meals, all that's paid for by the university. So that's a good thing. Whereas club teams, I mean, they're doing a lot of fundraising to run their seasons. That being said, with us here at this level here, a varsity team getting funding from the university, they kind of determine what we use our funds for. Whereas at the club level, when those athletes are raising that money, they can use it any way they want, whether they want to get new team uniforms, jackets, what have you. If I want to do that, I have to get special approval from our athletic director and all kinds of different people here. So that's, there's definitely some pros and cons for being a club team and a varsity team. Another major difference too is that at the USCSA level, we follow NCAA Division II rules across the board. So for a club team, that's pretty easy to do, but for a varsity team like Castleton, where we're a Division III institution, we have to follow both Division III rules and NCAA Division II rules. So it can get a little confusing at times. So in the end, it all works out, but at the club level, I think they definitely have it a little easier. The competitiveness of the USCSA is pretty good. Our races are on average penalty-wise. In men's slalom, we see about 45. The average penalty for a men's GS is 44. Women's slalom, 51. Women's GS, right around 47 or so. At the NCAA level, you're going to see penalties probably as low as 20, 25. I mean, those again are elite skiers. So that's one of the big major difference between the two. The USCSA is competitive, though. I can speak for Castleton and where we ski within the USCSA, and that's the Eastern Collegiate Ski Conference's McConnell division. And within the McConnell division, it's anybody's race every day. One day it's Castleton, one day it's Clarkson winning, another day it's UConn, another day it's St. A's or Brown University. So it's nice going into a race every weekend not knowing who's going to win. I mean, every race matters, which is huge for us. So it's definitely competitive. So I would say, we always say that the McConnell division is a good place for somebody that is that 50 to 100 point, 120 point skier. It is ultra competitive for sure. The USCSA gets pretty competitive as well when we get into the postseason. So when we go to our regional championships, we're facing the top teams here in the East that compete at the USCSA level, and then the top teams at that regional competition. Typically, the top 4 or 5 teams go on to the USCSA national championships, which typically consists of about 20 to 22 teams. The competition there is fierce. It's competitive. We see teams like Sierra Nevada College, Rocky Mountain College, College of Idaho. These teams have a lot of European skiers. In fact, they at times will have skiers who have had maybe a World Cup start or 2 under their belt. I mean, they're really good, and they could probably hold their own if they were skiing at the NCAA level for sure. So it's a good opportunity for us when we make it to the national championships to be skiing against that caliber competition. Typically throughout our season, during our regular season, we'll compete in 10 regular season races. 5 of which will be slalom, 5 of which will be giant slalom, and then we have 2 more races for the regional championships, and then the national championships are another 2 races, 1 slalom, 1 GS, and then we also do a dual slalom at the national championships. So if you go as far as the national championships, then your collegiate season will consist of 15 college races. Aside from those races, we're also doing USSA races. At times we'll travel as a team as well to those events. So there's definitely a lot of opportunity to race. Okay, so within the USCSA, as mentioned, we're in the Eastern Collegiate Ski Conference's McConnell Division, and then within the McConnell Division, we actually host 4 Fisk University races. And the idea behind having these races is to have ski academy athletes there, to give them an idea that NCAA skiing isn't the only option. There's another option out there, and that is the USCSA. And our hope obviously is that they hopefully come into the McConnell division or any of our teams that are there. But it's a good opportunity for them. So with our 4 races, we do 2 slaloms and 2 GS races that are FIS sanctioned. So at the USCSA level, it is definitely serious competition. We have dryland training, on-snow training. Dryland for us, our captains have started captains practices with our strength coaches already about 3 weeks ago, and we'll start our mandatory practices in mid-October, and we'll go all the way up until the holiday in December. As far as on-snow training goes, there's at the USCSA level there is a lot of opportunity for training. The mountains work with all the different teams. It's no different than any other team. And here at Castleton, we're pretty fortunate, just given our location, that we train at Killington, Pico, Okemo, West Mountain, and our athletes set up their training so that they're able to train a few times during the week in the mornings. Occasionally we'll get some evenings in as well at West Mountain, so we get quite a bit of training in, which is really nice, and the balance is really good between classes and academics. Also, we schedule our training sessions around everyone's classes, because that ultimately does come first, academics. And then aside from that as well, dryland continues throughout the season and even after the season is over also. So we definitely take it pretty seriously, and that's I think what's made us so competitive.